Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life. Two books that I have read and I absolutely love. Both of them take place in middle school environment following a social outcast. However, where Diary of a Wimpy Kid follows Greg in his pursuit to try and climb the social ladder at school and be more popular, Middle School has its main character, Rafe Cachadorian, try and break every rule at his school mainly because he wants to, and he wants to not conform and be normal, as his friend Leo the Silent puts it. Both of these books are great, and despite some goofy elements, mainly in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, they're both incredibly grounded and kind of relatable books. Greg trying to be better than everyone and have people think he is popular and cool is something that everyone will do at some point in their life. Don't lie, everyone does it. And Rafe trying not to be boring and conform to other people, to try and distract himself from just the harsh reality of everything that goes on in his home and how he does at school, is also relatable. Both these books were incredibly successful, especially Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And it was only a matter of time before movie adaptations would get made. Honestly, between the two, the only one that was good was Diary of a Wimpy Kid, while Middle School was, it was pretty bad, and it kind of threw out some of the best parts of the book. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie stayed true to its source material and is an extremely solid adaptation, with only a few changes here and there. The only one I could really think of off the top of my head is the girl from the school newspaper being a thing. It's a story about accepting who you are and being your own person. Now, here's an important detail about the first film, and quite honestly the first three films. We don't talk about the fourth one. Is that they are timeless. You can pretty much watch them whenever, and they just don't really age. Yeah, sure, in the second movie with the video game graphics, it looks terrible, but at the same time, they weren't exactly developing a whole game for a movie. You know what I mean? These movies can pretty much withstand time until we're with floating cars. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't really try and reference modern trends all that much, except for the Kesha video in one of the movies. I'm pretty sure that was the second one. I don't know. My memory's kind of fuzzy, but that's the thing. It tried to tell its story from the book, and the book is still timeless. You know. The Middle School Worst Years of My Life film is pretty bad. It chooses what it wants from the book and then just throws away everything. Sure, Rafe still wants to break all the rules, but not because he wants it as a distraction or as to stand out, because all the students try and stand out at the school, but are limited by the rule-loving principal, who is totally stupid and way too strict. Rafe Cachadorian is too radical for this school. You know, it's basically that. Also, one of the main things that propels Rafe to do what he does in the movie is that the principal destroys his notebook because people were looking at it during assembly instead of paying attention. It's just the cliche cool kids rebel against the establishment type trope, you know? And there's already movies that have done it better. Right off the top of my head, the movie Accepted, that is an extremely good film, and it still holds up to this day. And I definitely recommend you guys check that out instead of this movie. But back to Middle School. The book does not portray Rafe to be perfect, and neither does Diary of a Wimpy Kid. In fact, they're both portrayed to be pretty flawed, especially Rafe, with how he just pretty much tears down trust with everyone that he knows at points, but he does get forgiven at points too. But the movie acts like Rafe is a perfect individual. I really cannot think of when they portray him to be flawed all that much. He looks perfect. He pretty much acts perfect in the eyes of characters. Now, a crucial thing about the movie and the book, like the differences, is that at the end of the film, Rafe pretty much comes out on top, zero flaws, like whatsoever. He gets practically everything he wants. He gets the girl, the guy moves out, who I'm not really gonna talk about, and tell you why in a bit. And just like everything works out for him. The principal is fired and everything. And while in the book they do sort of end happily, it's more like a bittersweet ending instead of it being like, oh yeah, I won. Because he still gets punished, he still has to deal with the consequences of what he did, especially further in the series when he's forced to do summer school, and he has to do a reform program to get accepted back in the school. Now, you might notice I kind of have been trying not to spoil the book, and that's because I genuinely want people to read the book. It is a amazing book. Now, you've probably noticed the character stills right by now. They don't look like absolute garbage, and I will link where I got this done in the description, but the website is called Pick Crew. It's all one word, PICREW.com. It is an amazing site. Like, you can create your own character. There's tons of different artists on there, but like if you're gonna use it, like try and credit them, which is why I'm gonna credit the person in the description, at least I can remember, which I will do my best to do. Thank you for watching this video. If you got it this far, please comment if there's any other adaptations you might want me to cover from like kids media that I might have read. I've been kind of curious about doing the Judy Moody movie. Anyways, see you guys in the next video.